Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this is part 3 to my guide to wargaming clubs, and today I'm going to be talking about securing a venue, where to play. Now, finding a place to play is one of the biggest challenges for new clubs, or even for existing clubs that might find their existing venue needing to change. Now, there's lots of different options out there, and obviously this is a very UK-based approach. And I've listened to lots of podcasts about what it's like gaming in America and Europe and stuff. But yeah, UK-based approach. So I'm going to go through some of the venue options, negotiating a space, key considerations that you might want to throw in there as well. First up, the most obvious place is local gaming stores. So there's pros and cons with this. I think this is the biggest trap that most gaming groups go down. So local gaming stores probably got some gaming space already. You know, for example, in Stirling, you've got Common Ground Games, and they can put on a load of tables. And they might even have not just tables, but terrain ready to go for you as well, and storage space. The disadvantage, however, with having your club based in a retailer is often the lines between business and club blur. There might be expectations from the business owner. There also might be pressure to play certain games that are stocked by the business owner. But the other thing is, because it's quite an open space as a club, one of the great things about being a club, which I'll talk about in a future video, is being able to limit your membership and not have people come and play with you. When you've got an open space like a gaming space in a club, in a shop, it's really hard to limit that. So that if people turn up who are out with your membership, or you don't want to be involved with your club, maybe they're a toxic player, it's harder to ask them not to be part of it when you've got an open place like a shop. Community centres around the UK, there's loads of community centres. Every village has got some sort of community centre. There's also lots of sort of borough halls, town halls, all over the place. Look and you will find. You've also got church halls and stuff as well. Now, the advantage is often rent is relatively cheap to use them. They're generally accessible to communities. Disadvantages, there's often a lot of existing groups already hiring a lot of those out. So, for example, you might have scouts or a local exercise place. The other thing to think about with sort of community centre spaces is storage. They often don't have much in the way of storage, so you being able to leave stuff might be a disadvantage. Also, when you do leave stuff, it is going to be in a public space, so that's something to consider. A recent sort of change in the UK has been, as we've suffered the cost of living crisis and hospitality is struggling, a lot of hospitality businesses are looking to get customers through different ways. So a lot of pubs, cafes, etc. are opening up their spaces, especially event spaces, to gaming clubs, gaming groups. Now this could be quite a good arrangement because it's they need us as customers, we need their space. Obviously, disadvantages could be if there's any restrictions on people's age going to pubs. Also, speaking as somebody who works in the veterans community, our venue is strictly a dry venue. People who might be struggling with alcoholism, if your venue is in a wet venue, a place that serves alcohol, that could be an issue in itself. Certainly, there has been issues in the live role-playing circles which I've been involved with, which traditionally play in pub function rooms. But actually, you know what? You find the right landlord, they're probably going to have some storage on site. They have space. Now, depending on how the function room is set up, noise levels might be an issue. But actually, and actually getting the right tables as well. A lot of pub tables aren't really geared up for getting put together for gaming, but that's something that can be negotiated and sorted out. Other options in the UK, maybe is if you've got a members space, maybe it's a house, a garage, a shed, a barn. I live in quite a rural location now. I walk around some of the farms and I think, oh, I'll buy that. That's big enough to run a club in. That's some ideas, and there'll be others. Museums. I know of a couple of museums that, again, they've got lots of space, and during the downtime, when it's not being used, it's a way to get people in and engage them with their space. Our club, for example, the ACVC Wargames Fellowship, we're a charity space. So as you can see in the background to these pictures from the club, we're a veterans arts and crafts making space. So it's got like a light industrial warehouse size. And when I came in as a trustee and program director, one of the things I said was, could we use a space out with the normal veterans time to have space? We've got storage on site. We've got access, when the Monday to Friday stuff isn't on, so it gives us weekends to play around with as well. There you go, the ACVC Hub, that's the logo for it. So it's become a really good relationship. Benefits of that as well, the members, the veteran members, some of them have came over and started wargaming and building and painting and modelling as well. So you're looking for a space, now comes negotiation. So there's a few things to bear in mind. So cost and availability. How much does the person, organisation who's going to offer you the space, how much do they expect? And if they have a low cost or no cost, is there expectations there that you might not, that they might have that you might not have? So for example, if you're playing in a pub function room and it's free, is there an expectation that your members are buying food and drink from the bar? Is there, don't take your own stuff into the pub function room, for example? Or again, if it's you're running a games club out of a shop, is there an expectation that you allow anybody to join in and play? Availability, what nights of the week? And actually in my last video I talked about sort of chatting to folks, when are they available, when's good to have it. Also think about what else is on. Generally, weekends aren't great for war games clubs. It's good for events, because if you're working during the week, weekends, you've probably got different family considerations. So night during the week, what else is on around them? Are there any other clubs that are on? Like it says before, Glasgow, there's a different club night every night of the week. So actually picking one that's going to fit in. Maybe if you're a historical club, don't pick the same night as another historical club in your town. But if there was a 40k club, for example, that might be a good time to kind of have something different going on. When you're negotiating price, cost, access, think about what you can do for that community, or the centre or the pub, and actually go at it in a negotiation. Because ultimately, if you're going to pay £50 a night for a venue, you're going to have to cover that money through player subscriptions. So if you say £5 a head, well, you need 10 players. So if you've only got 6 people interested in starting that club, that might not be the venue for you. If you've got 20 people wanting to come down and it's £50 a head, you can charge £5 a head and generate £100 surplus for the club, or you can cut the price down. Another key consideration I've mentioned before is storage. War games, storage for terrain, storage for mats, anything else you want to store on site. Is it easy accessible? Is it going to be safe when you're not there? Is there storage? Will you have to bring stuff? I've discovered a lot of people like bringing their own tables, terrain to the club and playing on their own tables. That's always great to see, but that's not what every club offers. The other thing to consider at that point is, when you have a space, how private is it going to be? Are you going to be interrupted by other people? If it is a pub, how often, and you've got a pub function room, how often would it be that another function would trump yours? Do you have exclusive use of it? This is all things to think about and discuss with the with the management of the organisation. Like I say, there's no issue that cannot be dealt with, there, and a lot of problems occur when people aren't clear with their expectations. Other considerations: accessibility for all members. If you've got a pub function room, for example, and it's up a set of stairs out the back of the pub, is it easy for people maybe with mobility issues to get to? You know, it's something to consider. And like I said before, is there any barriers to people going there that you might not have thought of? So, for example, young people around alcohol. Availability of tables and chairs. Will you have enough tables, chairs, support? Are they easy to put out? What is the expectations about putting them out, putting them away again? How does the room need to be left, tidied down, all this sort of stuff as well? And opening hours and flexibility. So is the venue available when you need it to be? So I would say a good amount of hours. A Wargames club should maybe last about 4 hours. So do you have access to it for that 4 hours? Kind of setting up, playing your games, breaking down. Does it have flexibility if you wanted to put on some extra events, extra time? So there you go. There's some ideas about where to play. My preference, and I've seen clubs work best, is in sort of community spaces. Certainly ACVC Hub, and working with community space as well. The higher of that money goes back into the communities and the communities they serve, or in our case, back into the charity. My least favourite place for having a gaming club is in a gaming store, because you lose control of your club. It ceases to be a club. It just becomes an extension of the store, and it's almost like the store owners freeloading on your hard work. But I have seen some great relationships develop there. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Where do you play? Where do you meet? Next time, we'll discuss how to structure your club, formal versus informal, membership rules, and more. I look forward to chatting to you again next week. But anyway, that's me for now. I'll catch you again. Goodbye.